Hey, this is Dave with Rough Notes Magazine. We're all about helping agents and brokers thrive, and we're impressed with what you're doing. Can we feature you and your team on our front cover?
Diane, tell me the feeling you first had when you found out that you were going to be on the front cover of Rough Notes magazine.
Well, I got to tell you, Jason, being on the cover of Rough Notes was a goal that our agency set for ourselves 5 years ago.
Wow.
We actually wrote it down as one of the things that would say to us, we hit a milestone.
Wow.
So we have something called a Vision Traction Organizer, and it is literally one of the line items on our list that says we are on the cover of Rough Notes magazine.
Here we are.
When we got that call, we actually then achieved that goal a whole year early because we achieve it by 2027. So when it happened in 2026, we were high-fiving each other, and it was an awesome day when the photographer came. Everyone was so excited to be there and so proud. So
wow.
It's a great.
Wow. Makes me feel proud for you just hearing that. So that is fantastic. So just to give a little overview, one of the places I want to start is, and this needs to be said, okay? You literally might be one of the oldest. I'm telling you, I think I know another agency that might be older, but let's talk about that. So you've been around since, not you, okay?
Well, thank you.
I'm telling you. You're looking fantastic for 160 plus years old, Diane. Okay, so what it would say here, though, that you've been there at Knight Insurance since 1985. I think that's important to say. I want to give a little bit of credit where credit is due here. You're out of Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah.
You're back all the way to 1859 is right. What we say, like 165 years of the business.
Right. Think about 1859. Abraham Lincoln was president.
Get out of
here. The Civil War hadn't started yet.
Get out of here.
And our agency was in downtown Toledo in 1859. And although we've moved buildings, we remain in downtown Toledo the entire time.
Downtown Toledo doesn't look like it does now. I'll tell you that right now.
But what a testament that is. And you mentioned the warehouse district. We might talk about that a little bit later, but I've got a soft spot in my heart for the warehouse district. We're an old agency. We're in an old building. Our building goes from 1895. And so we're just steeped in history.
Led by young, hip leaders, right? So there you go. There you go. Just, I said hip, and I didn't even mean that.
Oh,
I was saying like
you did. I get that all the time.
I did not. I mean, that is good though. I gotta admit, I should have just,
because I have that second P.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Good call. I should have just stayed with it. So yes, that is amazing. And when we talk about 159, I only say this because my buddy Boyd McGee owns Talladega Insurance Agency, which he credits, I think, 1857. And to tell you how truthful this is, still in the family, okay? He has a Confederate dollar bill that is on the wall that was signed by the Confederate freaking president at the time, Jason.
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis.
Wow.
Because according to Boyd, his great grandpa was his insurance agent.
Now that's
talk to me about that.
You can't claim that.
Right? And I think that Boyd said that they were the second oldest according. Boyd is a big history guy, okay? And he thought that there was another agency that was actually older than them. So when I saw this 1859, I actually sent this over to Boyd. I was like, Boyd, check this out, dude. So he thought it was great as well. So that is just, it's so cool. And once again, we're not here to talk about Boyd, but Boyd has customers that have been, our families that have been on the books for over 100 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet you guys have got some long ones too, though.
Yeah.
Families who,
a day book. I actually have it.
You do?
Check this out.
Okay. Wow. A day book. What the heck is a day book?
It's got 1859.
Whoa.
And it is accounts of insurance debits and credits dating from agency appointment in 1859.
I mean, this is an loyal listeners. This is an old red book. It's very, very old. You can see it. It's very little.
Isn't that
and
cool?
then on side is it's written somebody's actual writing, actual ink.
1859.
1859. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we have an actual policy. It's framed in one of our conference rooms that's from 1861.
Whoa.
And it's one page. I mean, no longer our policy's one page, but
that's before lawyers, Diane.
In all seriousness, it's a reminder that we are caretakers, not only of the building that we occupy, but the business that we run. And we've been taking care of our clients' assets and belongings for over 165 years. I mean, that blows you away. And then when you think about 165 years from now, 2189, 2190, what do you think is going to be like then? We can't even fathom it as much as they couldn't fathom life in 2025, 2026. It's mind-blowing.
It is really mind-blowing. I mean, to be in 1859 and you tell them that the owner of this business will be talking to somebody who lives 3 states away or could talk to somebody on the other side of the world in real time and see and connect with each other. They couldn't have fathomed it.
Oh my gosh.
They just couldn't have fathomed. You couldn't put that all together.
No. No, it would seem like an impossibility. It would seem like fiction.
New York Times wrote in 1903 that it would be over 1 million years before we'd fly. I just saw this the other day.
Okay.
In 1903, New York Times published that, right? So think what they were thinking in 1859, 1860. I mean, wow, good point. Just unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Really was.
And here's the thing, Rough Notes listeners, so you should know, Diane actually holds a PhD in leadership studies, didn't even know there was a doctorate in that. And she has a master's in organizational development from Bowling Green University. So, I mean, kudos to you, Diane. You're just smart, you're just all kinds of stuff.
And here's the thing. I did it as an old person. I just got my degree in 2024.
When did you get old? Last year, I guess?
So, I started in 2019 working full time and trying to get my doctorate at 5 years. And maybe a topic for another day, but my dissertation I did on the insurance industry because that's what I know. I did it on insurance agencies and the internal factors that cause organizations to decline.
Wow.
So I developed a survey about measuring the traction of an organization. And if you have traction or if you're spinning your wheels, what are those things that are going on inside your agency? But topic for another day.
There's actually a book of traction, which actually talks about the EOS system and how to gain that, kind of along the same lines there. Wow. Okay, fantastic. I'm telling you, this is already way more interesting than the other stuff when we just talk about insurance. Now, your guys' community and culture, you mentioned it just a little bit ago. You guys are obviously, you can't be involved in a community for 165 years and not be part of it. I mean, people, when they think of Toledo, Ohio, they think of Knight Insurance. Let's just be honest, they do. So downtown Toledo's warehouse district, you played an active role, your agency did. You served as the president of the Warehouse District Association for years, which helping drive investment and community pride in the area. Tell me what that's about.
Well, we had kind of 3 pillars. We were all about advocating for the neighborhood, promoting the neighborhood as a great place to live and work and invest, and then getting members involved in creating that unique environment that we had. So we are 33 blocks of downtown Toledo, and we have one of the largest collections of warehouse buildings in this smallish area.
Wow. Okay.
And Knight Insurance has been down here in this building that we occupy today since 1983. And when we first came down here, it was kind of scary. Dilapidated buildings, blocks you to be fearful walking down. And little by little, businesses started to invest in buildings, renovate them one by one. And then in 2000, the Mudheads started to relocate the baseball stadiums down here.
Okay.
So the Mudhens are literally a block behind me. And when they did that, more interest in the area. And people talk about it as a success, but it really took about 20 years. Now you can walk down the streets, go to a bar for lunch, take in a game, be entertained,
Wow.
your fun things. And lots of people live down here as well. So these buildings have been renovated into condos and apartments. And they're so cool because they've got 8-foot ceilings, 8-foot windows, work interior walls. You just don't get that with new construction.
You don't. You don't. That's great that you guys invested in that. And that's like, some people build skyscrapers and they're like, hey, that'll live on longer than me. Now, it wasn't just you built it. There was a lot of people involved, but it's got to be a sense of pride, or a source of pride to walk down the street and think about what it used to look like with those old dilapidated buildings versus what it is now. So that's awesome, Diane.
Every year we have an event called Wander, the Warehouse District. And the business owners or residents will open up their homes so people can see inside. And it's kind of like the different home improvement shows you see. You can see that before and after. And It's really fun to get a peek inside because otherwise you wouldn't have that opportunity. And it really spurs people to do more of that. When they see what's done, it gives them the energy and the ideas to, well, maybe I could do that.
Right. It's kind of contagious a little bit.
Yeah, it's really, really fun.
So you guys give to a lot of charities. There's too many to mention here. Some of the Veterans Matter, Catholic charities, a lot of industries, all kinds of stuff. Another thing that was pretty cool, which is something that really caught on a while back, but you don't see it a lot anymore, is your employee-owned organization. So you guys are that. Anything that you want to add to that? Do you like that? Love that?
Well, we feel like it's a huge differentiator. In 2022, we made that decision, and it was very thoughtful. It's a very big decision to do that, but it really was spurred by what's been happening in our industry. And Jason, you know this, everybody listening knows private equity's been sweeping in and buying up agencies and creating these mega agencies. And oftentimes they end up laying off employees in different offices and consolidating services. And we really didn't want that to happen to us. And
yes, I actually have a question specifically about that with you saying that. Upon my research, one of the things I think that you told maybe the writer or something, you said, tell me if I'm wrong about this, a competitor sold to a private equity and went from 110 employees to 25.
Yeah.
And that clearly shook your leadership. Is that right, Diane? Expand off that a little bit.
No, that's exactly right. It was a well-respected agency. We really enjoyed competing against them. But yeah, they made that decision, and 100 employees are down to 20. And all of the community involvement that they used to participate in was just gone.
So did they divide up the book and split it out? Did they put it all in the call centers? What was the reason they went from drop so many in employees?
Well, they took the entire personal lines department and moved it to another city where they have a call center.
Ah, gotcha. Boy, that is a. And then, so I guess you guys didn't want that to happen. So in 2022, is that right? You said you guys decided, hey, let's sell it to the employees and make that work.
Yeah, so now we are 100% employee owned, and we're the only ones in the region here that are. So what a great
Okay.
recruiting tool, a great retention tool. It's a great selling tool to potential clients because they want to buy local and it matters to them that we are an employer of choice in the area.
And so without going too in depth, I mean, what do they call it? ESOPs is what that is, right?
Yes.
Employee stock owner plan or something like that. Is that
Yes.
right about that? So most ESOPs reward based purely on salary. Basically, you built longevity into you. So a 30-year receptionist could benefit like a top producer. So is it broken to shares? Does everybody get shares? Do you get more shares if you've been here longer? How does it work from a
Well,
general sense,
yeah,
Diane?
every ESOP structures it differently. What we did, which is a little unusual, is we made there to be two components for earning shares. One is your salary, but the other one is your tenure. So you
Okay.
get points for each, but the longer you're with us, the more points you get. And so that helps
Okay.
to kind of balance out the number of shares so that it isn't just completely on your salary. If
Gotcha.
you've been with us a long time, you're going to get extra points for that longevity, which means you'll end up with more shares than otherwise.
Diane, let me ask you this. Why don't you think that other agencies do that? More of it.
Gosh, I think they have a lot of reasons. ESOPs are a lot of work.
I've heard that.
They are. I mean, every year we have our firm valuated, our share price is determined, we have a trustee that we work with, we have a board, we have to hit our projections. So all of those components
Okay.
definitely add a little bit of pressure. I think it's good pressure. I think it helps us be better than maybe we would be otherwise. But not all agencies go for that.
Yeah.
And it also requires a big level of transparency and communication with your employees. I mean, we share a lot about our financials, we share a lot about where we're going and our direction. And not every agency wants to do that either.
So I didn't even think of that. So like everybody knows what everybody's making pretty much.
No, not to that extent, but
Okay. Okay.
we share certain metrics that we think are important, like our EBITDA percentage, our average new account by commission. We share our revenue goals, our growth targets from last year to this year, where we're at every quarter. We share our retention, our sales goals. We share a lot of metrics that we think make a difference in helping us get to where we want to go.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I want to ask you this question. I read in some of the notes that were taken that you said that no decision can benefit a client if it hurts a carrier. It was something that you said. Do you remember saying that or did I make that up?
You did not make that up.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That's
I did my research like a week ago, so I can barely hard sometimes remember this. In today's market, I mean, that's not always easy. Do you have any what made you say that? Was there a certain scenario or something that happened that makes you that you drove that from?
Well, actually, we came up with our five stakeholders back in 2000, probably for 20 years. We've been really focused on we have to take care of all of our stakeholders. Our stakeholders are our employees, our clients, our carriers, our community, and the owners. Now the employees and the owners are one, so we're down to four stakeholders, but you can't benefit one and hurt the other.
True. True.
And so that's what that statement is saying. I mean, we're not going to write an account that's bad for our carrier, because in the long run, that doesn't forge a good relationship with an important stakeholder of ours. We also have what we call partner carriers. And, everyone has their quadrante of carriers. We have 5 that are true partners with us.
Okay.
And each year we award one of them Carrier of the Year. We give one.
I read about this. I actually, you maintain 3 levels of relationships of carrier partners: frontline, middle management. Partner carriers, frontline, middle management, and senior leadership. Explain that.
That is a requirement to be a partner carrier, that we don't just have relationships with the frontline underwriters at the carrier, but we have relationships with middle management and we have relationships with senior management.
Gotcha. Really interesting. I'm going to say it in a way, and I want you to take this the right way, and I think you will, because I'm prefacing by saying that. You run it very old school. You do. I remember my agency owner that taught me. He passed a little bit ago. We started the agency back in the 60s. Not the agency I'm part of, but this agency I started. They used to have golf tournaments. And they would have golf tournaments that they put on, and they would invite the carriers to the golf tournament. And only partners could come, and they would give away their best carrier award. They did not believe in anybody answering the phone except for a live person. No phone trees. And in this world, Verl was his name. He would absolutely,
one of our values as well.
I know. Yeah. That's why I'm saying and then I read about this, and I think that it's a missing link that I think a lot of agency would say, well, this is so old school. But you're on the front cover of Rough Notes magazine, and you guys are growing. So that obviously shows that this is the beauty of the insurance industry, right? We can run our business whichever way we want. It always seems to work as long as you believe in it. So I think that that's really, really cool how you guys do that. So I know you're not taking that the wrong way, but you run it very old school, which is really kind of cool.
Well, I think when you say old school, how I would interpret it as, we really focus on the relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a value of ours. We have 3 values. Enduring relationships is one of those 3 values. And if we don't forge solid relationships that are long lasting with our carriers, with our clients, with our employees, then we're not going to be around for 165 years. And
True
when
that.
we look back to 1859, how do you think they built it? And they had to weather a lot of challenges. When you look at the history out of America, wars, Great Depression, recessions, etc. How do you do that? You do that by really caring for people.
You do. You absolutely do. You absolutely do. I love it here. I've got we're going to end with what we call a little lightning round, okay? So have a little bit of fun. And what we're going to do a lightning round, and then I'm going to give it to you to kind of wrap up with anything that you kind of want to say or anything like that, okay? Mm-hmm. And maybe there's something we left off that you wanted to talk about. We could sit here and talk for 45 minutes of all the great stuff that you guys are doing, okay? So I don't know if everybody listened to it though, Diane. Okay. Because that's a little too long. Okay. We're not Joe Rogan. All right.
Are you sure, Jason?
What'd you say?
Are you sure you're not?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'd ask my wife. She'd probably disagree. But anyways, we'll just act like we are. We're not. Okay. Here we go. So Bogus, we're gonna do an agent only lightning round. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a couple of these, and then you can just tell me short answer, 1 word, but don't make it long. Okay.
All
right. Here we go. They're easy. Believe me, they're easy. Hard market or soft market, which builds better agents?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Hard market.
Hard market. Okay. Just any reason, short reason why, or just it's what you feel?
We've first of all, it's recent. And second of all, we have learned a lot about how to handle clients through a hard market.
Wow. 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 You're right about that. Be honest. Do producers secretly love or hate the annual proactive review process?
You mean with clients?
Yes, with clients. Yes.
Oh my gosh. You know what? We could talk a whole host about that because those are goals of our service people.
Are they?
They're the ones
Okay.
who are leading those discussions.
Okay. All right. And I'm with you. I tell you what, there's a love-hate relationship for that. You know, you got to do it, but sometimes it can be grueling. And then sometimes it depends on who the customer is. So, let's see. What's a last one? What's more intense, an ESOP discussion or a compensation plan discussion? Sorry, that's a goofy one. I don't know.
ESOP plan discussion. Oh gosh. Probably compensation.
Probably. I'm telling you what, that compensation plan discussions are very top. ESOPs probably are too, but they're a little bit more organized. I'll tell you that right there. And so, which do you like better, new business or renewals?
Well, I have a real soft spot for high retention. That's one of my passions with a gain sharing program that I developed. So I would say renewals, that's where the money is. That's where your profit is.
And you know, before I wrap this up, I want to ask you about something. We won't go too far into it, but I want to go into your dissertation, I believe is what it's called for your
PhD.
Thank you. Your doctorate. There we go. You said that there were tractions. There were things that gave businesses tractions versus not, specifically insurance industry. What was one or two of those things that gave an agency traction over those who didn't?
So the model I developed was proposing that there are three internal factors: dysfunctional culture, resistance to change, and assumed continuity. If those three are present in an organization, conditions are ripe for decline.
Okay, what's the third one? Assumed continuity. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Assumed continuity means that because you've existed in the past, you assume you'll exist in the future. And so that leads to kind of an arrogance, an egotism, a complacency, because we've been around for 100 years. Nobody's going to touch us.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel better now because I'm not E3 of those. I think we have an unbelievable culture. We for sure don't take things for granted. And what was number two?
Resistance to change.
I got a bunch of 30-year-old and unders that work with me. They love change. It's unbelievable. I'm not saying that age is a determining factor to all of you Rough Notes listeners out there. I'm just saying.
Careful, Jason.
Yeah, I know. I'm 47. Okay, but
there are
I have a 40
people who resist change.
That is true. That is true. I'm 47. My business partner's 37, and everybody else is 30 years and under here. And we have 12 people. So I will tell you, it is when I say, hey, we're going to do something different, we're going to do something new. I have to tell you, we have very little pushback. Usually they're like, yeah, let's try that, so. But anyways, you're right. It's not age on that. It's just all your determination to look out in life. Anything, Diane, that we left off that you want to bring up about your wonderful business?
Well, I mentioned one of our values, but I didn't mention the other two.
Okay.
So we have three values that we forged through behaviors and then outcomes. So our other two values are relentless focus and exceptional standards. So coupled with enduring relationships, we created behaviors that tell people this is what we expect as you live out these values. And then from there, we have three outcomes. And one is that we will work and thrive in a fun environment. And I think
wow.
that's an outcome in and of itself to make sure we have a fun environment.
Yep.
That we will be the best at what we do. That comes from exceptional standards. And that we delight our stakeholders. And that comes from the enduring relationships. And we don't say we delight our clients, we say we delight our stakeholders. So that gets back to the carriers, the community, the employees, and the clients.
Stakeholders. You really think about the word stakeholders, right? The people holding the stake, keeping things down, keeping things, secure.
They have a stake in our success.
Yeah. That's awesome. Diane, fantastic. We started with the world wondering, why are they front cover of March? And now we have all the reasons why. And we can also see that it's being led by someone wonderful like you, who's definitely like new age and hip. Okay. Just totally new age and hip. Also in the last name. So Diane, we do thank you and appreciate it. And congratulations on being part of the front cover. I mean, I don't know exactly, but there's like less than 230. Because it started in, they always tell me this and I always forget. I think it started like in the late 80s. And so, and you only have 11 a year.
Right.
Even though there's 12 months, because one of the months you could possibly be
the one of
front
the
cover
year,
agency of 2026.
Right.
Now, see, you didn't have that on your list, did you?
We did not, but that would be such a bonus. We're really excited about that
That's
possibility.
Right. Upwards and onwards, Diane.
Thank you, Jason.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks for leading the charge as you have, because, our goal as independent insurance agents is to be involved in the community and to let people know that we exist and we're a major part of it. And I think the fact that you've been around for 165 years, but I have a feeling that when people drive by your office there in Toledo, they don't say, hey, that's where my grandma and grandpa got their insurance, not because it's old school, but because you've just been there supporting the community that long. And that is a pride that you should wear on your sleeve, which I think that you do. So Diane, congratulations. I appreciate that. As an agency owner myself in this great industry, thanks for representing us so well.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason.
No problem. All right. And to all you Rough Notes listeners, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast, because this is where the best of the best hang out. And I'm just lucky enough to be the guy on this side of the microphone who gets to ask them the questions. So once again, to people like Diane and to Night Insurance and to all you front cover agencies and listeners out there, thanks very much for what you do to make this the agency or the industry, the greatest industry God ever created. We're out.